is a woman who gets up.
Whoops, it is. There we go. Kill that music, otherwise YouTube will kill us. The YouTubes. It is what it is. Every single show starts with those words. It is what it is. It's crazy. And after all this time, it still keeps happening. Hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome back. My name is Jay Ryan, and I'm right here at the kitchen counter. You wouldn't know it, but here we are. Hello. We have got a good one for you this evening. It was a crazy week last week. You know what was going on. But this week, we're here with Jack D from the Big Z, ZUFFENHAUSEN. We're talking ZUFFENHAUSEN tonight. It's coming up in only a couple weeks, and we've got the guy who thought the thing up here in the chair tonight. Also, the Stiglitz here, and of course, the people. The reason you tune in, the missus in the chair over here. You're on Instagram. Thank you for that. Canadian Mike is not here, at least yet. He is. He's doing some wrestling stuff in Vegas. He really is. Well, it doesn't matter here. It doesn't matter where we are here. Start the show. 2 minutes. Get your drinks. Go to the bathroom. You got Will here to start it off. See you in a few. Devin, you gonna buy a beamer? Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Good evening. I don't know what's happening with me today. It's a mess. What else is new? Welcome back. It's Tuesday, September 27th, 2022. The fog is starting to roll in here, and it's a lovely night. We're back. Hello to the missus. We have got Jack in the chair over here, but we're going to be talking to him in just a couple minutes. The Stiglet is in the house as well. There's the back of his head over there. You're more than welcome to pull that one over if you need to. This is nice. Nice. Selfie cam. Awesome. And great. You have my old late show badge from when I snuck my way into the intern program back in the 90s. Awesome. Awesome. I love it. Okay, so what's going on tonight, boys and girls? Well, we've got, how do you pronounce your last name?
Diramarian.
Okay, I was pretty close. I always was saying Diramarian, and somebody once said Dear Marion. And it sounded to me like that's what I heard. That's what I heard. No, it's probably not what they said, but that's totally
not
right.
that difficult. I've seen a lot more difficult names.
Yeah, my letter J is harder than yours, but I was pronouncing it perhaps wrong.
Confused on how to spell it.
Yeah, you need this here.
How do you spell J?
Well, that's ironically the problem. I
No.
tried to make it as easy as possible, and it didn't work at all.
Exactly.
Although I realized something the other day. I've been going through my whole life telling people, when people say, what's your first name? I say Jay. What's your middle name? And I say, well, I don't have one. And I'm thinking that I've been going about this wrong my entire life. I think that I should reposition it all to be my middle initial is J.
Right.
No questions. Last name Ryan. And I just don't have a first name, which is it raises its own questions, but it's easier to answer.
We could think of a name today.
Well, I was going to use just Mr. because that's what I have to use, like to book an airline ticket. I have to use Mr. space J Ryan to use it. It's all about me. Hi, welcome back. Anyway, tonight, you should have a podcast. You're a good interviewer. Here are the hellos. Gosh, we have to talk about the Sonny show just very briefly.
Sure.
I think you
Tragic.
knew Sonny too, right?
Yeah, I've met him up there.
Yeah.
Newcomb's, but obviously I don't come up to Newcomb's that much
Well, you're always at
because
work.
of my problems at work every Friday.
Yeah.
Friday can
Problems?
either
You just
be-
own a business.
I know. Fridays can be either hell or it could be a very quiet day. And actually, I was trying to come over there this last Friday, and
It would have been a good one.
Yeah,
That's
I
what I was
even-
going to talk about.
yeah, I even texted Johnny Lieberman and said, "You're going to be there? I'm going to stop by." And then I got to work and
Not.
couldn't
If you go to
leave.
work first, you'll never come.
Oh,
Ever.
exactly. I got there and I just couldn't leave. So
Johnny did come up.
yeah, he told me.
You know, it's funny. I'm glad we're talking about this because I wanted to talk about this. It was the most Breakfast Club feeling, old school Breakfast Club
Oh, yeah.
day in the days of New School Breakfast Club
Yep.
that's ever been. It really. I don't know if it was people staying away out of fear or respect. Or what, because we have this whole kind of mountain family hashtag
Right.
thing, and visitors welcome. That's about Angeles Crest. It's not about Breakfast Club. Anybody can come to Breakfast Club. All
Right.
are welcome. But it's felt like people stayed away, and it felt like a respect thing to me across the board. And I just want to say thanks to everybody, period, simply for having it in your mind. We couldn't get this effing thing out of our mind for a week
Yeah,
or so.
It was sad.
Yeah, and until things are done, you got to get your loved ones buried, and then you got to talk about it with just all this stupid stuff.
Right.
So I just want to say thanks to everybody who did come. There was a lot of faces we hadn't seen in a while. Derek Whitaker was there,
Yeah.
which was great. And then there were some old schoolers who were there just the week before that don't necessarily come 2 weeks in a row, but couldn't not be there this time, like
Yeah.
Kevin Yee, and other folks. So. It's still on. It's still going. Everyone still loves each other. We're still going to drive and get the nature in the mountains. Just fucking take it easy.
Remember
Everybody
our-
says it's not a
remember our-
racetrack. It's not a racetrack.
No, it's not a racetrack.
This
You
road
need
will
to
kill you.
Respect the road.
Respect the crest. Exactly it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So it
Remember
was.
the humble beginnings of going up there. It was just a few of us.
There was. Fucking, it
5,
was a
6.
couple motors. I mean, it was the two of us, and then it was like Jose, and you came shortly thereafter. I mean, within the first 6 months, there was maybe 6 of us, right?
Right.
5 or 6,
Right.
maybe
That was it.
every week.
Yeah.
And it was the
it's become such a great. I don't want to call it an event. It's just a gathering of Porsche or car lovers, let's say.
Yeah, I still call it a Porsche event too, even though
well,
all are welcome.
well, it's 'cause-
Because the old schooler it was all the Porsche people who drove
Right.
those cars on the mountain.
Right.
And that was the other cool thing was it was a thing before we called it a thing. It was just all these people who simply did the same thing on Fridays. They all wanted to get out of town and go
Yeah.
Absolutely.
stretch their cars' legs, mostly older cars back then.
Right.
And I just think of George Puckaber up there in his old R Group car and his big white beard, and I think of Derek Whitaker and Jose in the Targa, hot weather or cold. His
There's
dog chewed
just
through the
some-
fender at one point.
Some people that we just ran into there.
The Stiglitz family. That's how we met them.
It's
They
amazing.
were already doing that because they lived
Sure.
in the area.
Right.
It's a very local family thing,
Yeah.
and we're kind of.
If you want people to hear you, they're not
we're-
going to be able
we're-
to. You got to pull that up.
We're
Okay.
we're really
We're not
glad.
really to that portion of the show, but I
Right,
do
right,
want to
right.
hear what you're saying.
We're really glad that we have Angeles Crest right here. There's
we
people
as
that drive.
drivers.
I mean, we're local to it, right? I mean, I'm right up the street in
Yeah.
Pasadena, so yeah, it's very important. I mean, I think from our beginnings of the Porsche Club, when I was in the Porsche Club and I was president at the time, and we did a a ton of events up there. Drives up there. It was
Absolutely.
just like almost every weekend or every other weekend
There was always something.
going up there. It was just part of it.
Yeah. Do you feel like it was? I mean, we have seemed like it was mainly motorcycles in the old days.
It was.
And then sort of
It was. Remember?
the older Porsches and stuff sort of infiltrated, and then maybe as new as
Well,
ours, and then the
right.
newer ones, and then and now it seems to be more cars than bikes these days. Do you find that?
I think so.
You
I
do?
mean, before it was all bikes and bikers, and you kind of felt like weird. You're the car guy rolling in there.
Yeah.
And they'd look at you like really weird. And
Yeah, you're taking up too
you're
many
like,
spots with your car.
Okay. And yeah, it was definitely a biker spot. Just like when you go to Malibu, you see the bikers at their
Yeah.
little hangouts, and you roll in with a car, and they're like staring you down.
I think of the irony with like that place used to be dead. I mean, they shut down to 3 days a week in the old days.
When we
the
first
Friday,
started going,
Saturday,
it was
Sunday.
dead.
That's what I mean.
Then
It
it
used
got
to be
better.
open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right?
Right.
Those were their hours.
Right.
And then they ended up cutting up Thursday because nobody ever came in, and they were going to cut Fridays too,
Right.
except for we started coming in. And they did
Right.
it just for us, for like 5, 6, maybe 10, a dozen people.
Exactly.
And I don't think they even broke even, but they used to do it. Can you imagine the irony now? They
Yeah.
shut the doors, and the amount of breakfast burritos you could sell now.
Yeah.
It's
Call
sad.
it a $15 burrito
I
across
wish
the
I had a
board.
breakfast truck or something. Take it up there and make burritos.
Yeah, we're not allowed to do that, unfortunately. A lot of people have suggested it.
You're not allowed to?
No, our agreement with them isn't. I don't know if the Forestry Service would allow it either. Come to
Oh,
think
I
of it,
see.
but our agreement with Newcomb's is no setups.
Right.
But I think that I really hope something happens with it. I really hope something
really
happens with it because I
hope
sure would love
so.
to have breakfast up there again.
Right. It's a destination, and it's cool to hang out, have breakfast, have some coffee, and spend a day there. I mean, that's the thing. And
Get away from LA for a
I
little
can't. It's amazing how there's a lot of people out there that could probably easily buy that place. I wish I could.
Nobody wants to. I mean, I've had a lot of people in this chair, and
Want.
nobody wants to. I've asked Leno, I've asked
It's
Magnus, all the
definitely-
regular usual
But it's
suspects.
definitely not. There's no return on your investment with the amount of money that they want. There's no way that can be attainable. I mean, there's not gonna. You have to be. It's got to be some sort of write-off.
I was going to say, I don't even think what they want is so bad at this point. I think it's what you'd have to do to it to make it whatever you would need to make it to have it make that kind of money.
Right.
You know,
It
you
needs
like
to
if
be
it
a
was
breakfast spot.
If it was the passion project that it for somebody that it was for the previous owner, and I don't
Right.
mean Freddie, I mean his dad, who came upon the place and said, "I got to have this in my life,"
Right.
and bought it. It needs to be that kind of person. You know, he was a doctor; he didn't need the money from the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we do have those people, but nobody wants the headache. At least that's what the people
People
who
are
sat in the
different
chair
today.
say.
I think
They're different.
people- yeah, there's a lot more different mindsets. I think of people. They rather just worry about themselves than
Oh, business-wise, you mean, or just in life?
just in general. I think just general people are a little more reserved to their own, confined to their own self.
Well, I think you're right. I mean, the social media and everything. You can have whatever you want, and you can cut out things you don't want. Life didn't used to be that way. You used to have to tolerate the things that you didn't want in your life because of the person in the grocery store or the guy at work or whatever it happens to be. Nowadays, you just unfriend or block them, and then you stay in your little paradise,
Right.
and then everybody's comfortable.
Yep.
Is that what you mean?
I mean, yeah, that's even like with family, though. It's kind of like with family. You okay?
Yeah.
It's kind of like with
Sorry to
family.
go off there.
When you had family that was always together, 20, 30 years ago, and, cousins and uncles and aunts who always did things together, and now you got everybody that you live next door to each other and you don't even see each other anymore.
Yeah.
Society has changed.
Yeah. Well, that's
The
kind of what
kids-
I mean.
Kids have changed.
They're all in this now, right?
That too.
You used to have to go get it in the real world,
That's
and
the
now
worst,
it's just all
worst
in there.
evil that we've ever had is the internet. The start of the internet, basically. And that started the whole, personal phone, personal
Yeah.
computer.
It seemed like the smartphone for me. I liked the internet, but it seemed like when the smartphone came out, that's when everybody
Right.
considered themselves smart because I have the world's information. Everyone was
Yeah, but
Goodwill
without
hunting,
the internet,
but they
you
haven't
wouldn't have this.
necessarily exactly.
That's
Oh, sure,
that
you're
was
going
the
that far
point.
back?
That's the point. This is one, I forget who quoted that, said the internet will be the end of it all.
I think it
will
was the
end it all.
Unabomber, wasn't it? I think it was
don't
Ted Kaczynski. He was against all that shit.
Yeah, maybe he had a reason.
Well, it's Terminator, right? It's basically that. Now, while it's not robots shooting at us yet, It is.
They're coming.
My phone makes decisions for me that I don't want it to. My car, whenever it's a
So
navigation
we're on the same
thing.
page here.
Oh, I'm a Luddite. I can't.
Yeah.
I love this technology because of
No, I
its
love
great
technology.
uses, but I don't like living in beta. We seem to
No.
live in beta now, and I grew up in a generation where you didn't put it out until it was tested and proven and ready.
Correct.
FDA approved.
Even that's sketchy now.
Oh, it's nothing means anything anymore. That's why we're in Everything is Everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
Did you see that movie? Everything Everywhere all at once?
No.
I feel like you would like it
I
because you're
haven't.
young. You got the brain for it.
I still-
Your brain might explode. It almost broke mine. It's
I
one of
haven't
those.
Seen it.
How were you with Inception? The Dream one?
Inception?
Yeah, the Christopher Nolan one, the Dream one?
I don't know if I saw it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
How are you with that kind of a psychological, like, mind bender?
I like it.
Some of them hurt my brain.
Yeah.
Make me think too hard.
Exactly.
All right. Quick pause here. We got some viewer mail. Well, not a pause. I mean, you're here, but let's. I got to do some viewer mail, and then since we were talking about Sunny, let's do that first. Actually,
Sure.
a lot of people, on the show the other day, we talked about how much of a, I don't know, how influential Sonny was up at Newcomb's, and how much of that property he touched with his art or his donations or his volunteering his time or whatever. One of the things Sonny always used to do was change the flag up at Newcomb's. And believe it or not, this is the last remnants of the flag up at Newcomb's. Checkered flag. We took this down the other day in his memory. Also, I mean, you might notice it was time.
Wow.
But we went and bought a new one. So
nice.
on Friday, we're going to put a nice new one up in Sonny's memory. I think we'll sign it or something and throw it up. Sign one of the corners or something. Some kind of nice little tribute. And as I recall, he used to have to do it about once a year. So I bought a couple of these from Amazon, and that'll just be our job from now on, I guess. But
I love that.
to Sonny and Raja, we got you covered.
Yep.
That's the coolest.
Single tear. All right. Now, this stuff. All right. When we were leaving GVBC the other day, now this is a weird one, too, because I have a feeling that people left these for Sonny and Raja. But somebody gave these to me when we were leaving GVBC and said, oh, they just found them. They were on the log over there. And I was like, well, don't you think maybe somebody left them as a... Well, no, they would have put them down at the site, was the logic. These two GT3s are here. If they were there were some children at GVBC the other day. I thought maybe a kid might have left them. If they are yours, holy crap, they drive themselves. Did you know that? Holy moly!
And they're not electric.
Anyway, if you would like these back, by all means, I'll have them. Jeez, I'll have them at GVBC on Friday. If not, if they were left for Sonny and Raja, we will put them down at the site. If you don't care, then we're likely to put them in the studio here somewhere, but I'm likely to put on them Sonny and Raja somewhere as a memorable
That'd be nice.
thing, as a little tribute. They're here somewhere.
Right.
So whatever. Okay, back to more toy cars. This I found in your wheelchair thing just because I was looking for this wheelchair thing. This happened to be in yours from Christian James Hand. I want to give a shout out to Christian James Hand. He's doing another show in a couple days, first week of October. Go to his Instagram, Christian James Hand, to find out when that session is. It's going to be a good one, and it's here in town somewhere. All right, this is from every time. I don't know how this started, but every time I leave Breakfast Club now, there are Hot Wheels in the car. And I didn't used to collect Hot Wheels. I guess I do now. The wall is filling up over there. In the beginning, it was Magnus gave me some of his, and I thought, oh, that's so cool because it's it's somebody we know has a Hot Wheels. I don't know. In my life, I've had Hot Wheels, but I've never known
We're not
somebody who
getting
owned
a
the
J.
car.
Ryan Hot Wheels, number 111.
I think maybe someday that would be great. I don't know that we're there yet.
Connections there, yeah.
Oh yeah, let's put it in the universe for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, since then, our buddy Frank has just been loading us up with Hot Wheels. So here's a blue GT3 that showed up the other day. Here is a very cute wheelchair that I guess is a real extreme sports person's wheelchair. I guess there's a real disabled, whatever. I don't think they made this up. That would be a weird thing to do. And then... This is exciting, but I don't think I'm supposed to. I want to put them. I want to play with them, but I don't think I'm supposed to take them out of this nice package here. Back to Knight Rider. Look, here's Kit and Car. Does anybody remember that? You probably don't. You're not old
Kit?
enough to remember that. Car was the evil Kit. Theoretically, KIT was a prototype, the Night Industries 2000, right? That's what KIT stood for, Night Industries 2000. And then CAR was the Night Automated Roving Robot or something like that. They can't, halfway through the season, they're like, this is cool and everything, but it'd be better? 2 of them. Anyway, thank you. Love you, buddy. Very nice of you. But please stop doing that. You don't need to. I'm gonna have my collection's gonna be bigger than yours soon. And I don't need any more stuff. God, I love the love. I'm so grateful for the love. And Christian James Hand. And then some guy. This felt very old school too. Before like every social media influencer ever came up to GVBC. In the old days, it was just like old school photographers. And somebody the other day was taking Polaroids. And I thought that was pretty cool. Just
That
'cause
was
nobody
cool.
does that
Right.
anymore. So here's a picture of the group there.
Right.
And a bunch of them. I saw a couple
Yeah.
going around.
Oh, more than one guy, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Photos.
Oh, he was taking more than one. Right,
So
there was
he's
a guy
taking
taking
Polaroids
photos.
of everybody.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. It's frightening. Too close on me there. Yeah, you got David Heenan here. You know David Heenan. And you and JC. What's JC's real name? Jamie?
Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie. It is Christ, though, right? I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. When I was a kid, JC was the big guy upstairs. Those were like the religious people. I was talk to JC. He'll fix your problems. Okay, did we do it? All right. Oh shit! I gotta. Sorry, excuse my language. I gotta. Can we do an East Coast feed too, or should we do it a little bit later?
Take your time, man.
You want to talk about Zuffenhausen?
Whatever
We started
you
talking
want.
right away.
Whatever you want.
Let's talk about Zuffenhausen. We'll come back to the East Coast feed. There's nothing important happening after.
East Coast.
Yeah, I just mean they're not actually live, so whatever it is, we'll keep. All right, so you brought it up before. We met in like 2015 or something like that. We brought our yellow
Right.
car to you. And
Before that, I think, where did we first meet? That's the question.
do you remember?
I kind of remember.
Oh, tell me, because I probably don't.
Do you remember we were in, God, what's that area? Right there in the, off of Foothill, not Tahunga.
Sun Valley? Is that
Sun Valley. Somewhere out right there. There's a Mercedes car show. Do you remember?
I
It was
think
an
I know that. I mean, the areas
all-Mercedes.
where like LA Dismantler is and where
Well,
Singer
no,
is.
this is closer. You're talking about Sun Valley, but I think it was in Tahunga.
Okay.
So we were at a, it was a Mercedes car show that one of my employees put together.
I remember this.
Remember Anthony?
Yeah.
Anthony's
Great guy.
curly hair dude.
Yeah, great
really
kid.
good guy.
Didn't he end up going to left for college or something? Didn't he?
Yeah, he left. They're in Arizona now. I
Okay.
believe.
But anyway, yeah.
So
I do.
anyway, so
it
he-
was a charity car
He
show.
created this little charity. It was really cool. He put this car show together.
But we
It
had
was a
done work
Mercedes
previously
thing.
with that charity. It was for Autism Speaks,
Right.
which was the benefit of that. And so it stuck out to me, and I said, well,
Right.
it's not really a Porsche, but let's go to this thing.
Right.
And then you pulled your 50th anniversary up because you had
Right.
your whole tent and everything.
Right. So that I believe was the first day we've ever met. And
I think
we
you're
met-
right. I think
we
you're
met
right.
there because it was non-Porsche related. It was like, but you came with your Porsche and you saw a Porsche guy, and
Yeah,
and
we
we
pulled up
hooked
next
up.
to yours,
Yeah,
yeah.
we became friends. We started hanging out. It was some good times.
Absolutely. I forgot about that. Anthony was a nice. It was the Mercedes SEC Club.
SEC.
I
There you
totally
go.
remember
That's what
that
it was.
because he gave me the sticker.
Right.
My little autistic brain can see the sticker and read it back to you. Wow. So and then but from there, then very very specifically, I have 2 memories of your business: scientific motor,
Right.
scientific engineering, automotive, scientific automotive. Sorry. One time we hit a rock on the crest, and we leaving Breakfast Club,
Right.
and Jose was behind us, and we didn't know what to do. Like 2 fucking bunnies just first time, like, well, there's no signal, there's no nothing. What do we do? And we decided, well, the tire was chewed. Maybe I can save the rim if I drive on the bead and just
Right.
drive out of there. So we drove down to your shop
Right.
on Walnut in Pasadena from the crest from like Redbox.
Wow.
And
all on the
like
tire.
20 miles on the crest, and then whatever the 5 miles or whatever it is at the bottom. And I just remember going to you, and you go, "Oh yeah, we got that." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "We got a wheel for that, right?" And you yelled off to one of your guys, maybe Anthony
Right.
or maybe somebody else,
Right.
and we kept in the back, and they went and got a Porsche wheel of the same style as ours, only
It's
black.
a lobster wheel, but
But it was
powder coated
black,
Yeah.
so it even looked like a
Space saver.
no, it looked like
A
a
spare
rugged, like a
tire.
race wheel to me.
Right.
And I even put a little scientific sticker on it because
Right.
I just thought it was so cool.
Right.
But anyway, you set us up while I went and I had to go buy more tires, obviously.
Right.
And it was the beginning of a beautiful friendship, and then that was a few years ago, and then most recently we had just done Yellow Car 2.0, first ride out from this show, telling everybody, "Oh, it feels great, let's go." We drove it and we hit another rock, a big rock this time. Took out a whole bunch of stuff, but namely that wheel. And we knew what to do thanks to you last time, so we went and did the exact same thing again. Put the same black wheel back on the car for a day or two while we went and got a new. Actually,
Another
we needed
tire.
a new wheel that time too. But yeah,
Right.
and it's so great for us to know that you're at the bottom of the hill, because like that's what a Porsche support crest
Absolutely.
vehicle kind of needs to know. Like, all right, well, if something goes down, do I need to
Right.
call my guy in Costa Mesa, or if there's an actual guy in Costa Mesa? I'm sorry, I'm not making fun of you. It
Orange
was a
County.
geography joke. Yeah, I'm talking too much here, but you know what I'm saying. I was really, really grateful.
Not a problem.
And it allows us to do it every single week, knowing that, like, all right, there's a shop that will take care of us at the very bottom of the crest that we know we can get to. Last time you weren't even there.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being
Probably.
part of the family.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That's really
It
cool.
wasn't even you. It was your team last time that took care of us.
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where
you were
was
out
I?
sick. You were out sick.
How long ago was that?
Can I say why you were
Yeah.
sick?
No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Why?
You had the
Had
you
COVID?
You had the big C, yeah.
Oh,
So that's whenever that
I was home for a week. or
6 months ago.
Probably a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you're allowed to politically tell people you got COVID these
I
days.
don't give a shit.
I just got an email from Uber today saying you no longer need to wear
Oh, I
masks
saw
in
that.
Uber.
No more masks.
Yeah.
Oh, they're finally getting smart.
I started taking Uber only a few months ago, and there have been no masks.
I
No
know.
one has
They
been wearing
haven't.
masks.
They haven't enforced it, but it's been all in their apps. You know.
Oh, okay.
But I just saw that today too. That was kind of funny.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So how
We're
did you?
over that.
So you loved Porsches, and that's why you made a business around Porsche, and then we'll get to
Well,
that.
no, I mean, I bought my first Porsche when I was 18, right out of high school that summer. I wanted a 914.6, so that was my first car. And once you buy your first Porsche, you never look back. I had a 65 Mustang Fastback,
Oof.
which today would be like, man, I wish I had that car. So I mean, very similar to
The
good old-
914.6 too, both of them.
Yeah,
They're
both
both
of
pretty
them.
good today.
So I was a Mustang guy. You know, I had a 289 4-speed top loader. It was just a hopped up, fast car. But, Mustangs didn't handle, and they didn't stop very well
Right.
at all. So we played around a lot with drag racing back in our time. Time meaning
Is this in LA?
in high school. Yeah, in Pasadena.
Okay.
So we had our little club and people to hang out.
I guess my point is you've
So-
been part of the LA car culture for that long, your whole life.
My whole life.
Yep.
I mean, I grew up, just to take you back, I grew up in my dad's garage since I was 10, probably. And then grew up in that, just wrenched and worked on cars. I built that Mustang when I was 14, 15.
Holy crap.
So I drove it to high school when I was 15. No license, no nothing.
Holy
And
crap.
my dad let me. That's the funny thing is like, today you're like, hey, Dad, I'm going to build a car. And it's going to be the fastest Mustang in Pasadena. And I'm going to go drive it to high school. Is that cool? Yeah. No problem. Knock yourself out. So, yeah, I mean, it was, I've started off at a young age.
Yeah.
Tinkering with cars.
I don't know if I knew that about.
No?
No, I knew you. I thought you built, for some reason, I thought you built the 914. I didn't realize that you
Right.
bought the 914 after having built the Mustang before even being
Yeah,
old
yeah.
enough to drive.
Yeah. I was driving before I was old enough to drive. And I've always been a car guy, so it's never changed. But, it's funny, you look at Steve McQueen. I look back and go, Steve McQueen had a Mustang Fastback.
Oh,
Then he
yeah.
got a Porsche.
Oh,
And it's all like
Natural
relative.
trajectory.
And it's not even, there's a few people that I know that's their beginnings of always having a hot rod like that. And then getting into Porsches. And then I've never looked back. I mean, to me, a Porsche is really the best car in every way.
Why do you say that? What is it?
There's not another car manufacturer that can stand up to Porsche's record of being a street car and race car on the weekends. You know?
Yeah.
Back in the day, did we have BMWs? No, they weren't that big of a deal at the time in the 70s and 80s.
No.
They weren't really race cars. I mean, they did have race cars, but it wasn't a thing for the street.
Gotcha.
For the street to build, a hopped up car. Now you see a lot of 2002s that are really cool.
See, I grew up in Connecticut, so we had Lime Rock, so that's all that was cruising out there was those little built 2002s, the 320s, 325s, stuff like that.
Right. Because I remember a friend of mine had a 78 320i.
Yeah,
and that was
I love
their
it.
first iteration of this really cool little sports car. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's far from having a 911. I mean,
it was not the same. If you drove a 320 and then a 911, different.
What I grew up in, you had a Corvette, right? Mm-hmm. You had a Porsche. Mm-hmm. I mean, who bought these cars? Your typical, your doctors, your
Dentist.
lawyers, people that had the money.
Architect.
They either bought, a Porsche or they bought a Corvette, right? Those were the two hot cars. Then you started getting Z cars into the, picture. BMW didn't.
Do you like Z cars? I can't believe you brought up Z cars. Do you like Z cars?
I've always liked the old Z 240Zs.
Yeah.
I think are very cool.
If anybody, I can't believe you brought up. Amazing segue. I got a message from my buddy Mike up at F40 Motorsports in Connecticut, the Wayne Carini place from Chasing Classic Cars, and they just got in a 240 with insanely low mileage, all original. Mm-hmm. And he asked me, he's like, if you know anybody, and I told him to sell it back to Bruce Bennett, who owns Bob Sharp now. And this thing was delivered to Bob Sharp Nissan.
Those are really cool cars that are really not completely appreciated yet. But they're going to be.
Yeah, I agree with you.
They've already, people are restoring them.
It's a great car.
It's not very hyped yet,
What I liked about the Zs was like Porsche that was minimal. There was kind of like only what you need and nothing else.
Yeah, it was a minimal gearbox, and you felt the steering and you felt everything you drove.
Not all cars were like that at the time.
No,
though.
not even. I mean, Camaros and all these other cars were they were okay, but it was just different times. You didn't have sports cars. You didn't have German cars in Pasadena. I grew up in Pasadena. There was no Rustneck Porsche at the time.
Right.
Rustneck came in like way later in the later 60s, I think. And then Mercedes was not a big deal to have back in the day. It was very few people had old 280s and 250s.
That's wild.
And stuff like that. And,
it's all the shit
and
I
I
grew up
remember
with.
working on some of that stuff. And just different times. Now look at it. Mercedes, BMW, and then you got all these Lambo guys and Ferrari guys. Well,
it's a different thing.
Is that funny?
Yeah.
I think they are funny. But
well, I like that there's a stereotype that a lot of people seem to live up to. It's weird. I don't know. It is what it
what's
is.
funny is
the matching outfits and everything.
right
It's
now-
adorable to me. You know what I mean? I'm not making fun of it. I'm just
the
like
Ferrari guys or the Lambo guys?
that's more the
Probably
Ferrari
the Ferrari
guys.
guys.
It's more the
Well,
Ferrari
they're
guys.
the older guys. I mean, the Ferraris are cool. I mean, they're great cars. Don't get me wrong.
They're all great cars.
I would love to have a Ferrari, but I'm not done collecting Porsches yet.
Yeah, you don't strike me as a Ferrari guy. What would you have if you could have a Ferrari?
Right now?
Yeah, I mean, say money wasn't an option, and you just I've got the one Ferrari I've always wanted. Ferris
I
Bueller
think
car.
a 360 is beautiful.
Modena?
Modena?
So you like the modern Ferraris? That's when
To
when
me,
Ferrari
that's
was
not
over
that
for me.
modern. That's pretty basic.
First one without a grill. First one without the prancing pony. It was all modern and plasticky.
Well, actually, the one that I want to get, and I've been wanting to get, it's been on my radar, but I haven't pulled the trigger, and now they're going up in price like crazy. Is the 308 Dino.
I like
GT4.
that. GT4,
You know what I'm talking about?
of course.
So
the
it
wedge
looks-
one
it's
with the short overhangs. I love
Correct.
that car. Magnus got one.
I think so. So I think that car is just beautiful. People don't understand. Look at the style. Look at the design. It's totally 70s Pininfarina type design.
I agree.
And it's been underrated for many years. Now they're going up in price.
My issue with that car is I don't fit in it. I like it a lot
Yeah.
to look at it. I just don't fit in it. I'm too tall.
Is it the headroom or the legroom?
It's the legroom. I end up looking like, well, it ends up being both, but
Right.
I look like a dancing bear. You know.
I mean, people say that about 914s, and they say, "Oh, that's a small car." In
Well,
fact, a 914 has more room than most 911s, early 911s. You could fit
mean
a
legroom?
taller
Legroom.
You could fit a taller. Well, it depends where you're taller here
Oh, right.
or your legs are longer, right?
Okay.
But generally, a 914 has more headroom than a 911. That's just the way I think the seats sit flat on the floor.
I think it's the same problem that people that I run into in the Ferrari is that I need the wheel to come to me a little bit. You know, you need a little spacer in the wheel, and then I think it'd probably be okay. Because then I get a little bit of knee room too by
Yeah.
having that. Otherwise,
Yeah,
I
as far
gotta
as-
sit totally. What do they call that? Spread Stanley or whatever
Spread
that
eagle.
man spreading.
Oh, spread your legs.
Yeah, man spreading.
Around the steering wheel, like
Kinda,
like
'cause-
you're driving a bus.
Yeah, because my legs are so you know what I mean. To get to the wheel, my
Right.
legs are so long that they end up doing that butterfly thing.
Yeah.
My knees are in the air. You know.
Yeah,
You don't have that problem.
I'm short.
I don't think of you as short either, but you don't have the problems I'm talking
I'm average.
about. Jesus. All right. So you'd have a GT4 after all that?
I would
That's
still
like
want
the
one.
affordable one.
And that's technically now they're like 50, 60,000.
I think
You
the,
could have bought them for 20, 25,000
Oh yeah.
all,
The old-
all day.
The
And-
old Dinos were.
but they need
were
everything.
cheap
You
too.
buy one and you have to go through that whole car.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, you would have to reconstruct everything. I mean, the way I would do it, I would start off with the whole body, the shell, build it out, clean it out, and just restore the whole car. I think even till later on, that car is going to be something to keep. It's a beautiful car.
that's the thing. I agree with you on the design of it. I genuinely like the design of it again because
I've
of
always
the
been a
minimalist
Pantera
nature.
guy too.
Oh, that's another good-looking car. That's
Pantera,
better looking than.
The GT4.
Do you like the early Pantera or the later? The body style one was kind of leaner and sexier, and one's beefier
You mean the
and
one
muscular.
that was flared out, the GT5?
Probably.
Yeah, I like the clean, bone stock looking,
Okay.
nice wheels.
Am I wrong about that? Didn't it change at some point? Wasn't there like an
I
earlier
think they
Pantera
added
and a later
bumpers.
Pantera?
They added more
Okay.
support bumpers, like most 5-mile-an-hour bumper.
Federalization stuff.
Yeah, stuff.
And then they added the wing into it as well.
Then there was a. what
There
they
you
called-
go.
there was
Maybe
a
that's
wing,
it.
And that was called. And that was a kit I think you could buy. I had a friend of mine that had a shop, and he built a.
That might be it.
He built a Pantera, and he created that GT5 kit to it, which is gives it fender flares.
Your buddy created the kit?
No.
Oh.
They're buying them from some guy in Orange County that was strictly a Pantera retailer.
I got you.
Parts. So you could take your Pantera and make it a GT5. It's got this really weird, the little angle wing in the back.
I see. I love it, and I love how it sounds. I love how it looks, but I've heard they're not that great. I've driven one around. Like I haven't driven one.
Old
driven one.
70s
The handful,
cars,
right?
even old Ferraris like 355s. What is it? What's the other one? What's the 308s?
308s of
Go
Magnum.
drive a 308 or a Mondial. You would hate driving it.
I have
'Cause
driven both
it's
of those,
stiff,
and I don't
There's
mind
no
them.
power steering, and the gearbox is just really hard to shift. Really hard.
Again, it depends on who's done it. Because Pinstripe
True.
Chris has worked on his own, and it's incredible. But it's the only one that's
Pinstripe
like
Chris?
that. Very well, yeah.
Good.
Do you? He's awesome.
We've been chatting on Instagram. We've been trying to get together to talk about Zuffenhausen, but
You should.
we're
He's
trying to. I'm trying to get him there. I would love him to be there.
Pinstripe Chris.
Chris, are you here?
It's October
October 22nd.
22nd is the date.
Be there, Chris.
Yeah.
I think he's a
He's incredibly
phenomenal-
talented.
Oh my God! I look at his Instagram posts and just see how he starts drawing and building the car. It's just incredible. I think he's very talented.
Every time, it's like Bob Ross. Every time I look at the beginning of the video, I go, oh, he just ruined it. And then by the end, it's like
He
this
smears it-
masterpiece.
He smears it with paint. And I'm
Yes!
like, and then he makes something. It's just incredible.
But then it's a
Right?
masterpiece
Isn't
at
that
the
great?
end. Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
All right.
And that's we'll have to talk to him
I don't remember why I just brought him up.
about the Ferrari.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's got a 348. And he worked his own gearbox on that, and he's like a lunatic about
Right.
it. And it's perfect, like brand new.
Right.
But then I drove a 355 back-to-back, week-to-week on that. And
Right.
that was technically a newer car and had the same slop you're talking
Right,
about.
right. Well, they're just generally harder cars to drive. They're not so comfortable. They're not.
Yeah.
You do drive a Toyota pickup truck from 1986, and it'll drive like it's a dream because the gearbox is smooth, The synchros are smooth. I remember we could drive those and not even press the clutch. We could shift gears in a Toyota. No joke. If you just timed it right,
Slam
just
shifting?
no slamming. Just first, second, third. It'll go in. Their gearboxes are incredible.
Wow.
I
And that's
still
the synchros that are that good? No,
Yes,
not
I
even.
still tell people the best cars in the world, and these are the old Toyotas, because some of the new Toyotas aren't as great as the old Toyotas.
I just love hearing you talk about Toyota so passionately.
No,
Go
no,
on, go on.
Toyotas, I think, are the best cars, built cars in the world.
So how do you feel about Lexus? Same thing, just fancier?
Obviously.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah. Just
No.
a fancy facade.
Obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
I mean,
Come on,
really.
Jay. Yeah, they're great cars. I mean, you can't knock a car. If it's really good, it's good.
Yeah,
Simple.
I agree. Pinstripe
Yeah.
Chris painted this.
Oh, nice.
That's why it looks like our car. It's one of those Luft toys like that you get at the dealerships,
Right?
and then he painted
Nice.
it to look like ours. Isn't that wild?
Very good.
Yeah. There you go.
Awesome.
I think if he's available, I'm sure he'll come to your event.
Yeah. Yeah. We've
Do you
been
want
chatting.
him to paint something there, or just show
Whatever
up like
he
for a
wants
meet and
to
greet?
do. It'd be nice for him to, to show his art and maybe sell some art,
Oh, I see.
I want to buy one.
He's his stuff's great. He's been in demand a lot lately, though.
Right.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Zoof.
Let's talk about it.
How did you come up with this idea? And stop talking past the microphone. You can talk.
All right.
You can be wherever you want. But you have to
right.
make the microphone
I'm not used
at least
to this
pointing.
stuff,
No, you.
But,
you stay comfortable.
Well, Zuffenhausen, it was a slow progression of ideas. Obviously, there's, I think from the beginning, I've been a Porsche guy since I was 18. And for me, I just worried about work and did my job and loved Porsches and kind of stayed within my circle of, people in this community. But after joining the Porsche Club, I think it really kind of opened up doors. I met a lot of people. You meet people from other cities, counties, other states.
Yeah.
And it kind of opened me up as far as looking outside the box and just really networking with a lot of people. And during that time, we did Porsche Club does their concours. And I've always looked at their concours and never really liked the way sorry, Porsche Club. And I still don't like the way they lay out their cars because they're all by classification of judging rather than being period correct of this era Porsche, this era whatever, whether it's a
I see.
911. So the way Porsche Club would lay out their cars was, by their categories.
So like Spit and Shine's over there.
Yeah, spit and shine,
and-
full Concours, whatever. So it didn't matter what car was in that category. They all were judged the same. So let me give you a simple example. So I joined the Porsche Club in 2014-15 when I bought my 50th anniversary 911, right?
Oh, no kidding.
And,
you became president very quickly then.
Yeah, because you join the club and they want you in real quick and they jump out the faster. So in the 6 months that I was in the club,
It's like the end of Indiana Jones. He's like, "Oh, you're here to vanquish me."
No, it was really seriously just like that. Literally joined the club mid-year. By the end of the year, I was vice president. All of a sudden, vice president. There was no like.
Oh, they made you vice
Yeah.
president.
It's like, there's a seat available. It pushed me into vice president. You know what happens when you're vice president, right?
Well, you're up for
You're
president.
up for president, right? And what's funny is these folks that were in the club and they were so nice and everything and showed me how to do everything. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, the next year, where are they? And they were gone. Call them, no call, no return calls, nothing. They were gone. But anyway, to make a long story short, the Porsche clubs have been a good thing. I mean, there's definitely a lot of fun. You meet a lot of great people.
We met a lot of great people through
Right?
and have
Oh,
and
yeah.
continue to.
And that's
yeah.
kind of, I'll be honest, that's how it, I've been in the Porsche business since, 1983, right? Since I started at Scientific.
And you joined the Porsche Club
In 2014.
31 years later?
Yeah.
Why? Why?
Well, it was Porsche Club was generally
Why
for
did
old
you
people.
wait so long?
Because I had to wait till I got to 50.
It's like AARP.
I got the AARP card and I got my Porsche, a new one.
No way.
Right?
Oh, no
All
way.
the same. No, I'm just kidding.
That's
I'm
hilarious.
still not an AARP member.
You're
okay?
hilarious.
So,
I get those mailers.
right? I get them all the time. And I'm like,
You know, we see all that gray. You better sign up, son.
getting there. So anyway, make a long story short. So we did. So I went to the first concours it was at the Art Center. Porsche Club put together.
Oh, wow.
And I had my 50th anniversary entered in the new car category. So I'm thinking, I've got a nice new car. I mean, come on, who's going to top this car, right? And then I entered my yellow Carrera.
I never understood new cars in the Concours. It's like, so if a
Right.
guy comes straight here from the dealership without even
Right.
pulling the plastic off, he wins? What's
Right.
the deal?
No, it's see, that's exactly what it wasn't. So then I entered my yellow Carrera. You know, I figured that's going to be a tough one. I got to clean it really
Targa?
good. Targa,
Oh, I love
right?
that car, yeah.
I love that car. It's
It
great.
wasn't. It was noticing your Targa in the poster for Zuffenhausen that made me realize, oh, I know all these cars. It was all
Right.
all people we knew. It was very
Yeah.
cool. Great
Yeah,
job.
you saw the poster?
Yeah. Well,
So-
we posted it today.
Yeah, that poster. We'll talk about it later. So at the at the PCA Concours, so entered the car, and my 991 lost to a 1988. I don't know, 98. Sorry, Boxster. So this car is like 20 years older. It was cleaner than mine. You see, it's all about, to me, and they can kill me if they want, but it's all about housekeeping. How clean is the car?
That's what
So
you say.
They docked. No, it's the truth.
That's what
though.
they say.
They docked me for grass. You know, the Art Center grass is really not grass. It's like really dry.
Yeah.
It's like weeds.
Yeah.
So there was like little pieces of that on
Needles?
the carpet. So they docked me for that. They docked me for gasoline around the gas cap. And I lost to a Boxster. Okay.
Gasoline around the gas cap.
Yeah. So
Oh,
I
that's
said,
just
wait a
bad
minute.
ownership,
that-
isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, when I judged the San Marino,
Not gasoline, but like they stick their little white finger in
Yeah.
around the gas cap.
So,
Tell
yeah,
them,
when
stick
I-
it
No,
in.
but
drove
I
to
always
San
make sure.
Marino,
I'm so
we would
OCD
do
that
that.
I always make sure that area is clear. Like I'll wipe it down. I'll make sure
No,
it
no,
doesn't
no.
drip with the hose
No,
first,
you
and then
don't-
if it does drip, I always make sure I wipe
You
it.
don't understand. They would get you for
Yeah,
what
no,
you think is clean.
Oh,
Trust
they'd
me.
still get me. I see.
Oh, yeah.
I see.
yeah, and like when it comes to the wash and shine class, where all we judge is how clean it is.
Right.
Oh,
it's
you're
like-
a judge.
Yeah, no. So I judged the San Marino one, and the
Right.
thing with that was like,
No.
we
Look
went
at us.
for
Here,
every little.
Look at us, cameraman. He's so.
He's confused which camera to look
I
at.
know. Just tell us. Tell us.
So yeah, no, we would look at like every little piece, and like there was this one guy with the GT3 who almost had a perfect score, and I noticed like just on the water seal where the rubber was, there was a bit of dust, and I had to dock him, and you dock him 0.1. And the guy was like, "Oh, I almost had a perfect score." He was like so unhappy and ended up winning anyways. And I was like, "Oh my gosh."
It's ridiculous.
Well, that's what I found. It was.
So-
it wasn't just the judging of it. It was the people
Right.
who went for the awards really liked what they were getting, and then
Well-
people got. It was like so much politics.
There's a lot
There was
of
a lot of
culture.
politics involved with the PCA.
And here's the thing. I think the Porsche world, these guys that build these cars or they restore their perfect 911T or 911S, they enter them in many shows and they want to get as many awards as they can. This way, when they sell the car is all about. No, I'm not joking.
I
this
never thought of that.
well, that's the game. And I looked
That
at
makes
that.
so much sense, though. Like you just unlocked my brain for why people are acting the way they act because I never put that together.
Yeah, they do that. It's
It's-
kind of like,
but that's what
it's
the
the
PCA
amateur version of Pebble Beach. Okay, so Pebble Beach is really about the big hard hitters, right?
Mm-hmm.
The hard hitters that are building $1 million cars, winning Pebble Beach Concours, and then selling the car at the auction the next year or whatever for $8 million. I don't know. I mean,
Whatever it is, yeah.
It's a whole different thing that I never knew anything about because
Yeah.
I was just a mechanic. I was just at Scientific doing my job.
No, the
But-
cars have become art, and it's a way to move money around for sure for the big players.
Yeah, but now
I just-
look at the prices of cars now. It's stupid. I mean, it's
No, you're right, but you bridged a gap for me that I never
Right.
realized before because the behavior was
Right.
certainly, don't drive your car because you're going to put miles on it, which is you're going to get chips on it and all this other stuff. It's not going to be worth what you think it's going to
just
be
the
worth. And
opposite. Yeah, 300,000
you
miles
saw
on
us.
your
We
car. I
did
know.
a windows out respray because we did it through insurance, but it was a $14,000 job or something like that.
Right.
And then we took it to the crest every week till now. People would never know that car was resprayed from the.
Right.
No, I mean that's just not what we're personally about.
Right.
But ironically, the car's still worth more than it was when we bought it.
Yeah. Porsche values have gone nuts. But the whole thing about
You drive your cars too, though.
I do. My 50th anniversary has 24,000 miles on it. To some people, it would be like, "Oh my God, you shouldn't have driven that
Right.
car."
Museum.
I'm like, "Why did I buy it?"
Right.
I drove it 1,500 miles in Germany when
Is that right?
I did Euro delivery.
Awesome.
That's one thing, guys. That's one thing I don't. It's a bucket list item, and if you ever can do it, and I'm glad I did because I probably can't do it anymore, or can't. Who knows? But wife, kids, college, school,
Life,
all
yeah.
that stuff.
Life gets in the way.
But yeah, I think it's
But
something.
you recommend people do that.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Imagine you're in your car, you're in another country, and we went from Austria, Switzerland, Germany, to Lake Como, Lake Lucerne, Milan, and then all the way back to Bavaria into Munich.
In a car not
What a
only that's
drive.
yours, but that you custom created
Right.
from the factory to
Right.
be yours.
Custom ordered the way I wanted it.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
But that was such a great time. But that's another thing. But so getting
What
back
happened?
to your question.
Would you kill a guy on that trip? What
I
happened?
didn't kill anybody. We can talk
He's
about
like,
that another
but
time.
the rest we'll talk about off the air.
Talk later. So getting back to your question on how Zuffenhausen was created.
Yeah.
I looked
Yeah.
at the PCA Concours and I was like, I don't want to see cars like this. I want to see cars in its own categories and everything. So when I became the president of the Porsche Club, I changed the PCA Concours and I started laying out the cars the way I wanted. Then you should have seen all these PCA members.
It's not in the bylaws.
The members.
Everything's up. Everyone up in
PCA
arrears.
members,
I bet
and
they
they're
had a
like,
meeting.
This car's not supposed to be here. It's mixed in with this group. And I'm like, so? I go, you have a piece of paper that tells you.
Don't know what to do.
Just go read.
what
Yeah,
to
they don't
do.
know what to do.
They don't know
They
what
got
to do.
really pissed off. But I'll tell you
Jack
what.
almost got impeached.
Almost got impeached. Yeah, okay.
You almost got
No,
impeached.
no. You kidding me? They wanted me back every year. But I think once we did that, our first show we really did like that was here in the Paseo in Pasadena at the mall.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a PCA event. It wasn't Zuffenhausen. But
Is
it
the
was
Paseo the Pasadena City Hall?
No,
Is that different?
Paseo is a little mall, and they have a big area where there's a fountain.
Oh.
It's like in the mall, outside
Okay.
mall.
Okay.
And basically, we did a show there. We did the Porsche Concours there, but I laid out the cars the way I wanted them,
Mm-hmm.
not the way the PCA wanted. And it created some, issues with people, but then slowly started getting.
Here's the thing. You're dealing with.
I know.
It's everyone that I met had a better way to do everything.
Of course.
So I don't think it's a very difficult to please
Right.
a bunch where everybody's got a better way of doing whatever you're doing.
Yeah, but after a year or two of doing that, and then you have other regions and other Porsche clubs from around the United States are like, oh, these guys are doing cool stuff. And I'll tell you, by the third year, our San Gabriel Valley region, we got first runner-up region of the year for national. You're talking about nationally.
Yeah.
We weren't first place, but we were first runner-up. And we got that for a reason, because we were doing things differently. And what I noticed with Porsche clubs and regions, all they do is copycat. Oh, they're going for a drive to Solvang, or they're going to go to drive.
So we'll go do that.
So we'll go do that.
Yeah.
And we're going to go to Newcomb. So let's go do that. And let's go here. Let's go do that. So it was when I was
I
president.
did a lot of routes that were
we did a lot of things
photocopies
differently.
of photocopies of other people's
Right.
routes. Go ahead.
So that's the humble beginnings of that. And then, of course, we have all the other shows that
I didn't realize you weren't in the PCA.
if I was what?
I don't know why I thought you were still in the PCA. Is Jose still in the PCA?
Yeah, Jose's
Is he still the president?
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Jose
Just making
took over,
Just checking in.
Jose was very instrumental in all the things that we did together. We did it hand in hand, side by side.
He's one of my
And,
favorite people I met through the PCA.
Yeah, of course. Jose's a great guy.
He's like your brother.
And we're brothers, for sure. And it was just doing that, one thing after another. So that's kind of set the ball rolling. And I decided for myself is I need to create a show that I can kind of do the way I want to do it,
Oh, I get it now.
You get it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had no idea.
Right.
I really didn't.
Right.
Well, it's very familiar to me now. This feels very familiar.
Right. It's all in baby steps of, doing something, learning. It's my phone vibrating.
Oh, it's you.
Vibrating
You're not
my
going to get
butt.
it? You can if you want to. It's hilarious.
No.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's that. And then, of course, we have Luftgekult, which is one of the greatest shows that we've ever seen. And Patrick Long and Jeff and Rod Emery. Remember we met Rod
And
Emery.
Howie. Don't forget Howie.
And Howie. Don't forget Howie. Yeah, Howie's a good guy.
I always give Howie a shout out because nobody ever does.
I know. It's
not
I
fair.
think
He helped create. It was him and Patrick in the beginning,
Right. Well,
then
they were, yeah. And I think Rod Emery's the silent backup guy that says he's got nothing to do with it, huh, Rod? But he's got a lot to do with it, and he does great.
He has a lot to do with everything.
Right. Yeah, he's a great guy.
I like how he got up early this week because he's got so much to do. He got up early this week. He's getting up at
He's
3:15
always
or
up.
He's always
something
up at
instead of
3.
4 in the morning. Yeah.
Rod. I mean, I've been pretty good friends with Rod, and I think the first night I met Rod Emery, do you guys remember when we went out to South Coast Plaza together?
That's the night you met him?
Yeah.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
I do
No
remember that
way.
night because it was a terrible night for us,
you know-
and I felt terrible that you got dragged into
Right.
it.
But that's okay. Hey, we're all
Her health
family,
was
right?
declining at that point, and when
Right.
things
I know.
came up, they came up fast back then.
Right.
Anyway, so
if
yeah,
you
I do
look
remember that
If you
night.
look at the last 4 or 5 years, I mean, we've met a lot of people. That's what I'm trying to say. We've met a lot of people, people to meet, people to know, to grow that relationship with.
I don't think you're right about that. I think you met him at one of your, when you were president, little Saturday or Sunday gatherings, because I took a little video where I just walked around. It was shortly after we had met you, and Rod came
Well,
to that.
Rod did come to the first show I did at Paseo. It was a PCA event.
I mean, a tiny little thing. Remember, there was like maybe 7 or 8 cars there. I did a little video.
Where were
It's
we
a
at?
tiny little thing,
You
just a
remember?
parking lot somewhere out there. No.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Jose could
no,
probably
he
tell you.
came. He came to our breakfast.
It was like
Porsche
breakfast,
Club.
but there might
we
not have
always
been
did
a breakfast.
breakfasts at. It was always either Coco's restaurant or whatever.
That's what it might have been. Coco's.
Well, we invited Rod Emery to come.
Yeah.
and it
But
was
he did.
It was during that time. Yeah, Rod's a great guy. I mean, he's always been there for us. And that's when we met. But see, I remember because I had met Rod, but I really didn't know him. And I was like,
In the
that's
video,
why I was
you guys
kind of
look
like
buddies.
that's why I was gung ho about. Hey, I got to go talk to Rod, and I got to meet Rod, and so then I'm like talking, and you're like, we got to go. I'm like, dude,
Oh,
I'm
I
talking to
know.
Rod Emery right now. You got to
know.
leave me alone.
Terrible. So sorry.
So me and Rod hit it off. I mean,
Rod's
I
going to
think-
do the show in a couple weeks. Come
Yeah?
back. You can both be here. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great. But yeah, I mean, it was every day, every month, whatever, something new. You know what I mean? And then Michael Dolphin, Michael Dolphin.
Oh, another
So
wonderful
Michael
person.
Dolphin and had told me, hey, we're gonna help out with the club. We're gonna do this Luftgekult, this Patrick Long was doing. We're like, oh yeah, we've been to all the other ones. I'd never gone to one because I think it was raining that day. It was in Culver City, right? Was it Culver City, or was it right here, the Valley?
There was a handful. The first one was in
First
Venice.
one.
The second
Venice,
was at
Venice.
Culver City.
Yeah,
Then
Venice.
the third one was downtown at Modernica.
Right. So I remember the first one. I was with my yellow 74, and I'm like, heater don't work. It's raining. It's cold. Or something was going on. I'm like, I didn't feel like getting up and driving to Venice, so I didn't go, and I missed it. It was a really good event. And then after that, it was at Culver City at
Bandito Brothers.
Bandito. I think that was
That was a very cool little
I know you
production
guys were
company
talking about it
space.
with Patrick the other day, and I think to me that was really the really cool one.
Oh, yeah.
I like that the best.
Yeah.
Because it gave you that whole feel. Everybody knew each other. You had your cars there. It was just all about car culture.
It was the right size, too.
It was the right size.
Felt like an art installation.
Bigger's better, but bigger's not always better. But it was just cool. It was just a hang. And people.
The design space was pretty cool.
It
like
was
their
very
actual
nice. I
offices.
really
the
liked
fact that
that.
there were cars in the offices and
Exactly.
everything. That was neat.
Yeah. What's funny because I saw, obviously Jeff Swart there on that second one. And what's funny is Jeff Swart, many, many years before that, he shot a commercial at my shop.
Oh, you're
at
kidding.
Scientific. So I guess it was a Pennzoil company, oil company, was doing a commercial. So they had scouted my shop for, because
To make it look like a gas station or something?
Yeah, it was the old shop, not the one that you've been to.
Oh, okay.
Before we had an old shop, but I had remodeled it. It was really nice. So they had done a commercial there, and I didn't know who Jeff Zwart was. I mean, you didn't know. What's funny is, we get there in the morning. They set up. They spend all day setting up. They shoot a quick 30-second video that takes them 5 hours, right?
Of course.
Which is great. And then, because half the shop was open, the other half was closed, and they did a shot of a guy pouring oil into a old 57 Corvette. And it wasn't even a Porsche. It was a Corvette. And it said, mechanics know what oil to put in their car. So Jeff Zwart was there, and I didn't know who he was at the time. And then I figured out who he was, and it just kind of made sense. But what's funny is
he's so big in so many careers that it's hard to necessarily know.
Jeff's such a quiet guy. He walked into my shop and looked around. It's all Porsches, obviously. It's kind of like what he's about, but he never really expressed it. But he saw my yellow 914-6 sitting in there, and he just looked at it and walked around it, looked at it, and guess what he had?
Of course,
a yellow
that's his
914-6.
first car he ever bought.
Right. So, and then when I saw him at Luft 2, right? So I said, "Hey, Jeff, do you remember me?" And he remembered, and he was like, "Hey, how you doing?" Started talking to me, and it was just all about getting to know these people.
So at some point through your Porsche career, whatever, you've realized who Jeff Zwart was, and you go, "Oh my gosh, that's the guy who did that commercial at my shop way back when."
Yeah, he never ever said who he was, or
Yeah.
he's a very humble guy, and he's not going to be, "Oh yeah, I'm the Porsche guy. Dude. I race Pikes Peak,"
No, the fact that you had Porsches is probably why he didn't bring it up.
Right.
You know what I mean? He probably, whatever. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love stories.
No, it
like
was
that.
cool. So
It's just so foreign to me that you were in it so long,
That's
and
what
yet
I'm
you only
saying.
got in it in the way that we got in it at the same time that we got in it.
but look at
Because that's
today,
when we
though.
we jumped into the thing.
I know, but what's funny is 30, 40 years ago, it wasn't as big. I mean, nothing was that big. Gatherings weren't like, they didn't have cars and coffee.
Right.
There was no such thing as a cars and
That's
coffee.
true.
There really wasn't.
Right.
In fact, I did 2 shows at my shop, the old shop. I think it was 2005 and 2004 or something. I did literally a little get-together at my shop. We set up a few vendors. We had a tire guy come out. Motul came out. And we had a little car show. And that's way before Cars and Coffee even existed.
Yeah.
And people liked that. They would come hang out,
Community.
it's all about community.
Fostering
And that's
community.
the whole thing of Zuffenhausen is, creating something that's not just Porsche Club-like, I wanted it, first of all, to be all about, and it's right on the name, too. The cars, the people, these are what it's about. It's about you and your car. And then the place has to be very unique and very nice. And I got the liking of how Luft was doing that, too, as far as a place. It has to be artistic. It has to be creative. You know what I mean? And that's very important. So you kind of take a bit and pieces of everything and put it together. Am I trying to copy Luft? No. Luft has its own place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Luft has its own place of what he does, and what they do is very unique and very nice.
But you're literally not copying Luft either. There's a lot of people that are out there kind of doing other versions of whatever. And your show literally isn't like Luft.
No,
Like the cars aren't set up that way. It's not that type of thing.
No,
even
it's
though
not.
you focus on.
There's more of an artistic, display of their work. Whether it's Rod's cars or very unique race cars or one-off 911s,
You guys do it too.
911Rs.
I don't know. It's just different. It has a
It
different
takes
tone.
time. Yeah, it takes time. But that's great. And I want to do something for everybody. To everybody come out, and that's what we're doing with Zuffenhausen this year. We're doing the same place, but we're doing a night event.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's going to be a nighttime event. Cars are rolling around 5 to 6.
Interesting.
Everybody sets up, vendors set up. So we'll have vendors, and I want the vendors to be there too. People that build parts for cars, people that sell Porsche parts, or maybe not just Porsche parts, but have it part of a community. give the community that limelight also.
Yeah.
And, you know, when people are walking around, they can go to different vendors. We're going to have food trucks. We're going to have wine tasting. We're going to have a beer garden. It's going to be really nice. We're going to have obviously a DJ. We're going to put on nice 80s music.
It sounds like they used to do First Fridays in Venice, where it's basically a street fair. Right. It just happens to be Porsche themed.
I've always said create like a Oktoberfest.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't have to be named Oktoberfest. I mean, you can always do something and call it Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest.
Then everybody shows up in the things with
September.
the leader and all that.
Yeah, some people have threatened me they might wear their lederhosen.
Who made that threat? Who made that
I
threat?
don't know. You wanna
Some
tell?
people we don't want to know. We don't want to see.
No. Don't want to
Nobody
look
wants
at
to
some
see me in lederhosen.
6-foot guy with hairy legs and his shorts on.
Well, that's the guy who wants to wear it.
You could wear it, Jay.
No, I'm not the guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so is there judging at Zuffenhausen?
We're gonna have cars that are gonna be judged.
Okay.
They're gonna be wacky, different.
Do people
categories.
know there, or are they just up for
No.
judging simply
They
by
don't
showing
know.
up? Like they'll get a thing on their car. Oh, this is
Exactly.
most dirty or most
Right.
most whatever.
I think
it
last
happens to
time
be.
we made up some categories like the most slammed, looking
Sure.
car, or the, I think.
So it's for fun though. It's not.
Yeah,
People don't
it's
need to take
nothing
it too
serious.
seriously.
No.
Beautiful.
I mean, it should be about, hey, that's a cool car,
right.
and that's unique, and that's funky or whatever. But it shouldn't be about how clean your damn car is.
You won't need to clean your gas cap.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You still got a taste in your mouth
Oh,
over
yeah.
this thing. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I
And
could see it in
that's
your
what's
face.
kind of taken me to the other level of, let's have a real car show.
Okay.
Something you can hang out and have fun. And that's all. And it's obviously it's a passion, right?
Yeah.
And
These cars are for all of us. If Porsche gets in your blood, it really does. And there's not much you can do about it.
No.
And people are like, well, but you're a car guy, right? And I'm like, well, not.
You know what's
I
funny?
kind of used to be a car guy. Now I'm really a Porsche guy.
I've got a friend that is not a car guy, all right? And it's funny because he just doesn't understand. So he sees me running around trying to prepare, do everything, get things ready for the show. He's like, man, what are you doing? He goes, why are you doing it? He asked me a question. I couldn't answer the question.
Because
It's
it
like,
doesn't make sense.
right?
Why would we
I
be
mean, think
doing
about it. He
Why
goes-
do we do the
he
things
goes,
we do?
Why are you doing it, the show? I'm like, I don't know, I guess. Because it's not to make money, because you
No,
lose money.
they never make money.
I'm sorry.
But inside you're drawn to do it. It's
Right?
that if you build it, they will come.
Yeah, I'm sure my wife doesn't understand it either. She's like, why are you doing this? Why are you going through all this? You're going to do this and that, and you're going to lose money. And I'm like, it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
But do you see it's the passion?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
people don't
Do you
understand that. They don't get it.
Well, people who aren't passionate don't get it.
Correct.
I would imagine other people with passion probably love it and
Yeah.
support it.
Right.
Well, that's Porsche people.
Same
So
idea.
luckily you've got your audience.
We do. We have a great audience. I think we've built a lot of friends from Orange County to the other counties, all of LA. It's a great culture out there. The Porsche people are good people.
Yeah. How has the Porsche culture changed since you were a kid till now? I mean, LA anyway, specifically.
Since I was a kid,
Well, I mean, since you bought your 914, at
14.
how old were you? 17?
18.
18?
Right out of high school.
I mean, it was a different Porsche culture then than it is now.
I think, and what's funny is you didn't see a whole lot of Porsches back then, and I think we were building cars, turbos, slant noses. I was building back in the 80s when, there was no Lambos and Ferraris, or there were Ferraris, but they were collectors, right?
Right.
But when you went
weren't
to a
cutting 'em up.
restaurant, right? You went to the restaurant or you went to the nightclub, and they parked your car in the front like it's some $300,000 Lambo.
Right.
We got treated that way.
Wow.
Now,
Even in
No.
your 914.
no, the 914. Not many people really understood what it was.
You
They
had to
thought it
know
was
what
a-
the 6 was.
They didn't know what a 6 was. They thought it was all 914, a Volkswagen car. But no, I had. I don't know if you knew. Dan McLaughlin was a guy in Burbank. And he was in the studio business too. I don't know if
Okay.
you know. He had a shop that created all the fiberglass bodywork for all the IMSA GT racing cars.
Wow.
So he built all the 935s and 934s,
The body
the
work.
908s. I mean, he even had what's his name's 917 at his shop. So he was a fiberglass. He built bodies for all these race cars because they obviously need race bodies for spares when they go racing because they
Right.
get hit. But so he created the first slant nose body kit in fiberglass, and I was one of the 1, 2, or 3 people that had it.
Wow.
So I worked a lot with Dan. Would go there and I, at that time I was still working for Scientific. I was still an employee, and Dan helped me a lot. And we built this car, a slant nose, it was a red slant nose, turbo look, right? And I remember driving out to Newport Beach, right there off of PCH. There was a factory 930S. It was called a 930S turbo. It was like a $120,000 car back in 1985.
This is in the window at a dealership?
Yeah, at a dealership.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, look at that. That's the real deal. And we got the fake one. But, but back then, slant noses were in.
Yeah.
And so it was a 930 body car initially. And then, I crashed it on Santa Monica Boulevard.
You were a kid.
In the rain.
Yeah.
No, it was raining really hard one night. We're going out at night, and this car in front stopped and, tried to swerve out of the way. And, back then, you had no ABS brakes. And
Right.
old Pirelli
Locked them up.
old Pirelli P7s didn't really grip well. So it just slid and hit the car in front of me and knocked out the 2 headlights and the fenders. I'm like, perfect slant nose.
Now I know what I'm doing.
candidate.
Yeah. And
So-
it'll never happen again.
Yeah, I'll go right under the car next time. But so then the slant nose was born, and we did that, and it was a great car.
So I don't think I realized till this story, though, that you didn't start Scientific. You worked there and then bought Scientific?
Yeah, let me give you a little history
Please.
on Scientific
yes.
Automotive.
Please.
Roger Bursch, his name is Roger Bursch. He started this company back in 1958. There is talk it was in 1953, but by 58 they started doing Porsche cars. So all the guys from Pasadena, all the little rich folks that had a Porsche. I mean, you didn't have a Porsche unless you had the means to do that. So they had people coming from JPL and Caltech, and the name of the shop was Roger Bursch Automotive at the time, and it wasn't Scientific. And so the name of the shop got changed based on Roger's ability on how he built these cars and tuned them. And he had his let's call today you have a scanner. Back then you had a big oscilloscope. It was a sun scope, and it was the size of a wall.
Whoa.
It was probably bigger than that wall, probably like 6 feet by 8 feet, and it rolled on an I-beam, and so he had one of those, and nobody else did. So
And somehow he would hook that up, and he would
hooks
tune
up-
based on
He
the...
basically takes the little cords, and he plugs everything into the car, and to the coil, and to the spark plug wire, and to the tailpipe, measuring
Amazing.
the fuel. So we had a live working dyno. So Roger was very well known on dyno tuning, and so when he dyno tuned the car, he obviously got maximum performance out of it by tuning the carburetors, rejetting them, setting the timing, adjusting timing, and basically the curve of the distributor. If you know what that means,
Sure.
is how the distributor advances and how quick it advances and how far it advances.
Isn't that what we used to adjust by doing a little tiny...
Well, that's the final result of
Oh,
timing.
okay.
But what happens inside the distributor, okay, if you can understand, when a car accelerates, it needs more timing in incremental stages.
Oh, interesting.
Okay?
Yeah.
You set the static timing, but the distributor...
It's not just a curve and not just a
correct.
bar
So
curve.
right now everything's done with a chip, right? So, I mean, look what I've gone through learning from my beginning of understanding how a distributor works and how a carburetor works and the fuel and the jetting and everything
together
has to work. So when we said we tuned your car back in the day, you really tuned the car.
Right.
All right. So when a car left, it ran better than it ever did coming in. And you had to tune these Porsches every 10,000 miles.
Yes.
Nowadays, you tell a person to change oil every 10,000, they they squabble.
A new car, yeah.
They're like, oh, why do I gotta change the oil? Or why do I need to do the
Why do I have
spark
to do
plugs?
anything, yeah.
Why do I have to do anything? The car runs fine. Because cars did go out of tune.
Mm-hmm.
So everything was so mechanical that you basically had to adjust things.
Absolutely.
And today people don't understand it. They just can't understand it.
Well, that's
You
what I was
know?
talking about the Ferrari ownership before. If you're the person who knows how to do all those tinkerings,
Right.
then you're the guy to own a Ferrari. But otherwise, if you're just going to go drive the piss out of it, it is going to be in the shop all the time.
Right, right. Yeah, Ferraris have come a long way. I think Ferraris are...
I'm talking about those old ones. You know the
old
ones.
ones? Yeah.
Pinstripe Chris.
Oh,
He does his own tinkering, and that's
Right.
why his thing is so good.
That's good.
All right.
So
Pinstripe
Roger-
Chris, got to come to Zuffenhausen.
Yes.
But
Definitely.
but Bersch, I know, is the exhaust company.
Correct. So Roger Bersch created an exhaust company, and it's called Bersch Exhaust. And so he built. So not only did he tune the engine and everything, he said we need a better exhaust. We need
So once he does all that work, he goes, I can still make this better.
right. So you look at history. Roger Bersch built a 911S back in '67, and he raced against Vasek Polak and kicked the doors off of Vasek Polak's race car.
Wow.
And they protested it and didn't know how the hell did this little guy from Pasadena build this car, and he must have cheated internally in the engine because all they had were a 2-liter flat 6 motor, and it was all in Roger's tuning. It was in his carburetors, it was in his exhaust, and his distributors, and he made that car run. And the guy named Alan Johnson was the driver for that car, and Alan Johnson later became a Porsche dealer owner. Roger's friends back in those days all became ownerships of a dealership. They actually offered Roger a dealership, and he turned it down.
Like that was their pay. That was their, instead of like
Yeah.
stock options or whatever else.
Right.
Oh, we'll give you a
'Cause
dealership.
I think back then Porsche wasn't represented, and they needed people that were like, "Oh, well, we want to sell you. You want to sell our product? Here you go." You know, they gave you that. They knew you. They liked you. They gave you that option.
franchise
hey,
or
we're
whatever.
gonna give you a franchise,
Yeah.
and we're gonna let you sell these cars. It's kind of like when my dad came to this country. He had a gas station, but my dad was a furniture builder from the get-go. All right, he recovered furniture.
that.
My dad.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what his trade was, but he always tinkered on cars. He worked on old Alphas and Jags and stuff back at home, and so when he came here, he was always tinkering and working on friends' cars. So my dad was very handy on cars. So when it came, I don't know how. Here's an immigrant man that came to Pasadena, and the Texaco gas station said, "Hey, we'll give you a gas station. We'll put a full load of gas in the ground, right?
to get
Sell
you going.
it,
To get you
sell
going.
it, and pay us." That's what it took back then, in the 70s.
Wow.
In the 70s. So my dad did really well at that time, doing that. But that's how everything was. So Porsche, there was no dealerships. I mean, there was nothing. That's how Roger was, and Roger was a pioneer in what he did. So he created that exhaust company, which today Sierra Madre collection has taken over, which are doing a great job.
I love that.
Yeah, Sierra Madre is doing a great job and they're recreating the headers and everything, which we have on all our new cars too.
That's so
our
cool.
old cars, our new old 911s.
Is that scientific, or is that a different version of scientific? Is that the back shop who makes the 911s?
You're talking about
SMG?
SMG.
I mean, is that...
All right, so Scientific Automotive is obviously the shop, right?
Yeah.
That's the beginnings till now. Now, what's funny is when we have been doing our thing for 20, 30 years, we're always been known to be the old Porsche shop, the old car shop. So then when we started working on new cars, people are like, "Oh, well, they don't know the new cars," but now we're doing all new cars, right? So now all of a sudden, people are like, "Well, do you do old cars?"
Oh,
so
I
they've
see.
forgotten
So it
about
swings
the
both
fact
ways,
that
yeah.
now they're looking at going, "Do you do 356s and early 911s and 912s?" Yeah, we do. I've been doing that from the beginning. But I think SMG, I created that. It stands for
Is it
Scientific
Motorworks?
Motoring Group, right?
Motoring group. Okay.
Right? So same idea, but I created that to kind of identify just an air-cooled division
Oh, okay.
of Scientific.
Same bit. It's just
Same
for
business.
identification purposes.
It's not a different location.
Great.
It just, my passion right now is to probably move forward and just doing older cars. So I'm trying to just build up that name and create that identity that Scientific's always had. But to the people today, they only really know what you're working on today. You know what I mean?
But when you say our cars have these Bursch exhausts on them, you mean these SMG cars that you
Right,
build.
the older air-cooled cars.
Okay.
Like we redo, the engines and restore the old 911s.
Oh, not even just the ones that you build. I mean, you're talking about customer cars.
Customer
You suggest
cars.
this.
Yeah,
I see. I got
So
you.
Bursch
Great.
is building.
I'm sorry. Boy, long road. Apologies.
Yeah. So Jorge and Eric, Eric.
Yes, Eric Williams.
Eric Williams. So
Very
they're
talented.
designing these new headers for these early 911s, which is a great product. Eric was just by yesterday, and we go, we work hand in hand, and we put on probably 4 or 5 sets already
Awesome.
of that exhaust, and they will be there at Zuffenhausen.
Super
They will be
cool.
there. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, these, I think Porsche cars don't end. Whether it's new or old,
Oh,
right?
yeah. No.
It just, and then there's no other car company that can say that. They can't. It's a great thing.
It's funny you mentioned the Porsche and the Vet. They're the two that are still, like the 911 and the Vet are still around. In
Right.
some way anyway. I don't know if we
Right.
count the new Vet
Right,
anymore.
right.
I feel like that's a different car.
Yep.
The Vet is dead. You heard it here first. Let's see. Okay, so Zuffenhausen is on the 22nd. How do we get tickets? How do people sign up? How does it work?
Well, you can go on to Eventbrite, Zuffenhausen. This thing is ZUF 3, ZUFF 3 on the Eventbrite, and you're in. So general admission is free.
Really?
Yep. It's
Oh,
totally
wow.
free. Yeah. It's an open platform. Everybody comes. Whoever wants to come and hang out.
It's beautiful.
Everybody come.
That's amazing.
And if you want to display your car, in the
Oh, I see.
in the Right.
Terminology. Okay.
Right.
Go ahead.
So if you want to display your car in a displayed area right in front, and there's a fee for that.
Sure.
And then we're going to be opening up a second parking area, which is going to be a little more reasonable.
Okay.
Some people complain.
So there are options.
Some people complain that $100 was a lot of money.
Here's what I just heard. There were options at different price points. That's what I just heard. And the cheapest is free. That's what I just heard.
Cheapest is you walking in. Yeah.
That's what I mean. The cheap. So nobody can be upset with that the prices are too high when the cheapest is free.
Correct.
Yeah.
We had probably
Put that in your hat.
in the first.
What do you say? Who's giving you trouble about the price of Zuffenhausen?
There's always complainers, right?
Well, that's life.
Yeah. You can't always.
Don't tune into that frequency.
Right.
Just do your thing.
Well, what people have to understand is when you put on a venue like this and you're dealing with public spaces and permits and insurance,
Permits,
and fees,
security, the
and,
police,
and
the fire.
And I want people to understand this is not a cars and coffee. You could do a ton of cars and coffee, hang out, and it's free, right? There's no such thing as charging someone for that. But when you're doing an event, and this is an event that I will do once a year, so that makes it special.
Mm-hmm.
You wait for it. I mean, we obviously couldn't do it for the last 2 years because of COVID.
Right.
And nobody was permitting events like that. So we're finally back,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to be a good time.
Did we give all the information for it? Is there anything else people need to know?
I don't think so.
All right, people, you can follow it at Zuffenhausen _ right on
Correct,
on Instagram.
On Instagram, yes.
And then
There's
is
no
the
website, just Instagram.
right? The website is just go to the Eventbrite, I guess, and type in ZUF 3.
Exactly.
Fine. How do you feel about this? I've been trying to get you in here for years. You finally
Yeah.
did it. You had a good reason.
Exactly.
But how do you feel? You all right?
I feel good. Thank you. Yeah, it's all good.
You didn't seem nervous at all,
No, I feel at home with you guys. You know that. That's different.
even here in this
I love
environment.
the studio. It's great.
Okay. I remember we were hanging out with you guys on the mornings where we said, "Hey, we're thinking about starting a podcast," and everyone's like, "Oh, really? What are you gonna do? What are you talking about?" We're like, "Well, I don't know, Porsche and TV stuff, I guess."
Right? Why not? So we have some room for you at Zuffenhausen if you want to do a live podcast. What do you think?
I don't know if we can do a live
What do
podcast.
you think, Stiglet?
We can get the logistics figured out. I think it'd be pretty cool.
Well, it's certainly possible. We've got a month to plan it, right?
Think about it.
All right.
You can get some of the boys out there and chat it up.
some of the boys out there in Chattanooga?
Your friends.
Your friends.
My friends. Everybody.
Your Sharona. It's my Belinda.
My Sharona.
Yeah. Oh man! All right, so let's see. And people should follow you at Jack Diramarian. It's just your name, Jack Diramarian, right? And then
On
Scientific.
Instagram?
Yeah, and Scientific.
Instagram is just my name, but that's just my personal account, which
You
I
need
don't
to-
really do much other than family stuff.
Oh well, maybe I tagged the wrong account today.
No, that's
but then
okay.
Scientific.
Scientific
Auto or Scientific Porsche.
Scientific Porsche on Instagram and ZUFFENHAUSEN. That's
Okay.
it.
And SMG
SMG
Motorworks.
if
There's
you wanna
another
get
one if
into
you
that.
want to get into all of them.
If you want air cooled,
Yeah.
you could see our air cool builds. What we do.
But didn't you have? I can't remember Mike's last name. I never can, and that's my fault. But it's Mike XIIX or whatever.
Mike Trung. Yeah.
Is it that simple? His last name's Trung.
Yeah.
That's it. I
Yes.
can't believe. Maybe I just never knew it. Anyway,
Right,
Mike.
right.
Every
Yeah.
time I see his car, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah,
beautiful.
we built that car.
That's why I'm bringing attention to it.
Yeah, that was
It's lovely.
a great car, and really a great motor that we put in there. Mike had a vision, and we made it happen for him.
It's beautiful.
So that kind of started the whole SMG thing.
That's
And
why
I think we had it. I think we had it kind of sort of since the last Zuffenhausen, but we didn't really try to promote the car or do anything like that.
Well, it's damn fine to look at
Right.
and to hear.
Well, have you seen my new one, the black 993?
Yes.
Yeah.
Both of them.
So that one.
I happen to know Mike Trung.
Yep.
I love you, buddy.
You're good. That's good.
Last time I saw Mike Trung car, we saw it at Sonny's memorial.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that. All right, so we're not going to do East Coast Feet tonight because we have plumb run out of time. We'll do that on Thursday with the Marconis. Oh, speaking of which, Thursday we are back here with the Marconis. But in the meantime, follow the Stiglet, which is the Stiglet.
Stiglet.
It's your only one, right?
Yep, only one.
It's smart. He's keeping it all in one place. The rest of us
Smart
diversifying
how
our
to do that.
Instagrams are just stupid idiots. It's too much stuff to freaking. You can't keep up with all yours, can you? I can't keep up with all mine.
Oh no, I have to pay people to do mine.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Do you really? That's
I
smart
do.
to do for your business.
I don't have time. I can't. It'll take me 20 minutes to post something. Like I think about it too much, or
Once when
I
think
try
about it too
to,
much.
no, it's not my thing. The young guys put it up there real quick.
He's got the brains for the ones and zeros. His
Right.
channel's great. Is there? I feel like we're skipping something with Zuffenhaus. Did we hit all the things we're supposed to hit? We really did. All right.
I
This is
think
my
so.
fear. I'm always afraid to turn
I
it
know
off.
we've been talking about so many things.
Oh no, I got to do commercials. That's what it is. Gee whiz, I was supposed to do business earlier and I almost didn't. We got to do these commercials. They say all which separates men and boys is the coverage for their toys. What types of toys are we talking about tonight, Mrs. Ryan?
Collector carpet.
That's right. How are you doing tonight? You haven't said a word. We've been doing all the chatting.
Awful. I'm listening.
I know.
It's great.
Yeah. MS has not been good. We're going to a new Jeep, trying a new GP tomorrow with you, right?
Yeah.
All right. We'll figure that out. In the meantime, licensed in most states, St. Clair Insurance shops top providers so you get the best coverage for your toys. Simply check them out by going to www.coverageforyourtoys.com, coverageforyourtoys.com,
Coverageforyourtoys.com.
and tell Jave St. Clair that Nicole says hello because oftentimes
I cannot.
her legs don't work at all anymore. Poor thing has to crawl around the house. It's very, I don't know if it's sad because you've got such a smile on your face, but like if you didn't, it would be very sad.
It would, so I don't. Like, whatever.
Just
It
letting
is
everybody
what-
else know.
It is what it is.
We're going to start doing videos of what would be ugliness, except that we have to laugh at it. Otherwise, we'd be crying all the time. So we're going to start doing videos of what it's like to be us. And it's not all that fun. It's going to, we'll have to figure out a new Instagram for it.
Great.
But yeah, we got to, or actually it'll be in the autoimmunity one, I guess. Anyway, look forward to that. Series 1 Films is more than just films. They can set you up with effective marketing solutions like press releases on major news sites. They can scale your rank on Google, and they can produce cinematic content for your automotive brand or business needs. Simply check them out by going to series1films.com, series1films.com.
Series1films.com.
That's right, and the 1 is a number 1 on that one. Just like the 3 in Loof. It's Loof. Zoof 3. Zoof 3.
Correct.
I was calling it Zoofed. I kept calling it Zoofed, and you're
I
like,
know.
it's Zoof. I was like, I got it.
Zoof is short for Zuffenhausen.
I know. I thought it was
know you know.
Zuffenhausen. I thought it was Zuft. It was my fault. It was my own. I thought it was Patrick Swayze for years too. So I have my own issues.
Thought it was what?
I thought Patrick Swayze. His name was Swayze. Patrick Swayze. I don't know why I thought that.
Poor guy.
It's the same problem. Jack, I love you, buddy.
Thank you, man. Love
It's
you guys.
really great
also.
to see you.
Thanks
Congrats
for having
on the event. I can't. We'll see you on the 22nd, one way or the other. But it's a nighttime event. We're
Yeah.
triple booked. See, now we can't. We're triple booked on that night.
Oh, really?
There's the comedy at the Marconi for Guido Cocomello, who did our show down there. That is going on. Also, Christian James Hand, who I brought up earlier in the session, is doing that live show that he invited us to here on the show. And now Zuffenhausen is a nighttime event.
It's a busy night.
Busy day.
See you at all three. I don't know how we're going to do it. We'll figure it out. I want to do all three.
They all sound
Well,
great.
we'd love to have you there.
It's great. I love you. Stiglet, we love you too. Love to your family. I had a great time with your dad up at, your dad made the post-Sunday Memorial GVBC, and it was great to see him as usual. So
right.
love you. We love you. We love you. We love everybody at home. Please love one another, and we'll see you next week. No, we'll see you Thursday with the Marconis. The Marconis apparently are going to bring us a big game show sized check for whatever we
cool.
got from doing the fundraiser down there.
Nice.
So I think they'll be making a little contribution to
Yeah, that was
to
great.
the
Great
Autoimmunity
show.
Foundation as well. You weren't there.
No,
Oh
I
Jesus!
saw it.
You had me.
No, I wasn't.
You just had me.
Well, I watched it.
No, but I thought I had a little spell there because there were a lot of
No.
people there. But
Yeah.
I thought I forgot, which I've been doing these days. Is your memory getting shit as you get older? My memory's going to hell these days.
Yeah, it's normal.
Really?
You know, the short term.
And glasses.
And glasses.
And I
See,
need glasses.
I have to carry them with me now.
All right, I lost the show card. Here we go. All right, we're done. Good night, everybody. Love you.
Good night.